And a very good evening to you, boys and girls. It's Wednesday, the 15th of April 2015. A warm welcome along to tonight's United Kingdom talk. And a very, very special show tonight, boys and girls. We are remembering the Black Cap. Now, I'll have regular viewers and listeners that won't know what the Black Cap is, so I'm going to read you a little history of it, okay? Number one, it's a pub, club, cabaret bar in Camden, in London, okay? Now, I'm not fantastic. I won't lie to you. I'm not fantastic with history, which is why I hope some people are going to call in tonight and bring you some of those memories and wonderful, wonderful times that we had. Oh, I've become emotional. Wonderful, wonderful times that we've had at this marvellous, marvellous, truly magical place. It really was. And without warning, it closed on Sunday. No big party, no send-off. Very, very few people knew about it. Now, you'll be able to call in a little bit later on with any of your memories and that. Now, the way this works this evening, boys and girls, generally, if I'm on a call, you won't be able to call in. You've got to wait for there to be a gap. I can, however, add people to other calls. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to work tonight. This is something completely new to me. I do these live shows all the time, but this is just so different tonight. It really has. So let me tell you about the Black Cap. It's a gay pub in Camden Town, known for its drag and cabaret. Now, the pub was initially called the Mother Black Cap after a local legend concerning a witch. Boo! Witches everywhere. Now, Titti, one of our top drag people in London, does a witch. And she does these tricks on stage with a broomstick. But none of it works, except the lifting up on the table. You may have seen Titti lifting up a table with virtually one finger. How does she do that? In the winter of 1965-1966, the pub became predominantly a gay place, and in the later 20th century it became known for its drag queen cabaret and promoted itself as the Palladium of drag, which indeed it was. Drag acts such as Danny LaRue and Hinge and Bracket started their careers at the pub. You may have seen Hinge and Bracket on the television. A notable regular performer at the Black Cap was Rex Jameson's drag persona, Miss Shufflewick. Mrs. Shufflewick. Now, I have with me today some little bits and pieces that have been provided by an ex-DJ, actually not of the Black Cap, but he's a bit of a collector, Ray Reynolds, who's going to call in just a few minutes' time today. And one of the things he gave me was this album, a drop of the hard stuff from Mrs. Shufflewick, and this was made, oh gosh, I think 1970, oh, it's on the back there, 1973. Okay, he made this. Not only, he got this, not only did Ray have this, but it's also been signed to him. I don't know if you can see that. Yes, you can see it on the back there, signed to Ray from Mrs. Shufflewick. How fantastic is that, eh? And there's all sorts of bits and pieces that Ray's give us this evening. Let's go back to the story. Yes, here it is now. A performance was recorded there in 1972, which is the album I just showed you. Jameson was a variety artist who hit the big time in the 1950s and 60s and went on to attract audiences in the 1970s. The character, Mrs. Shufflewick, was celebrated by artists such as Danny LaRue, Roy Hudd, Bob Monkhouse, oh yes, Bob Monkhouse, I love him, Barry Cryer and Barry Humphries, who of course later on became the Dame Edna Show. Mrs. Shufflewick appeared weekly for Sunday lunch during the 1970s at the Black Cap. A Hammond organ and drum kit took pride of place on a tiny stage upon which Shufflewick performed for 2 shows. Sunday crowds were large and included Charles Hawtrey, Barry Humphries and Barry Cryer. Now, you remember many, many years ago, actually before I started DJing even, you would have these shows and there would be a small live band there. as it said there, a Hammond organ and drums. So much better, don't you think, than having a CD of music or something like that? But as things go, things become expensive, and the bands in the, I suppose, late 70s really became replaced by tapes, which themselves became replaced by CDs and mini discs, and now just this little stick thing that you plug into a computer. It's amazing, isn't it? Really amazing. Rex died. Jameson died in 1983, and in memorial, the upstairs bar is called the Shufflewick Bar. Jojo Martin said of Rex Jameson was a genius at his craft. I think the book written about him, The Amazing Mrs. Shufflewick. Now, we've got that here as well tonight. Look at this. It's all here. Ray's bought everything here. Look, The Amazing Mrs. Shufflewick, okay, which I've got here, is a very apt title. It was amazing. Looking at the photograph on the dust jacket, it's no wonder how many thought Rex really was Mrs. Shufflewick. We might have Ray calling in now. I'm not sure. Hello, is that you, Ray?
Oh, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, Ray.
Yeah, let me go. I just tuned in before going to bed, so I thought I had to speak to you.
Before going to bed?
Yeah, don't forget I've got to start early.
Oh, is that... Oh, I beg your pardon. That's the other Ray, isn't it? Hello, Ray. All right?
Yeah, because I stayed awake. I went to sleep when I got in, set my alarm just to speak to you now.
Okay, Ray. And you work in Morrison's, don't you, on the bread counter?
Yeah.
Lots of people know you, Ray,
from
from your fame at performing the tragedy dance by steps.
Yeah. I only heard about the Black Cat closing Sunday night from Darren and John when I was at halfway.
Yes.
I couldn't get there to say goodbye to the cat because I was a bit drunk.
You're not drunk now, surely, Ray?
No. But this was on Sunday because I went from halfway to Admiral Duncan.
Yes.
I thought enough I didn't want to overdo it with a drink. You know when your body's had enough?
Yes, I do. It's usually by 12 o'clock for me. I managed to... God knows how I managed to do these 3 o'clock jobs now. I just try and keep going.
Yeah. You're happy with your cup of tea every day.
I've got my cup. I've actually just finished my cup of tea. I'm worried now because I've had 3 cups of tea and I've got to sit here till 1 o'clock at least. And I'm worried about having to dash out to the toilet tonight, to be honest, Ray.
Won't Katie look after you by making your tea?
What, Katie my cat? No, not at all. So tell me, what are your memories, your favourite... Have you got any favourite memories of the Black Cat, Ray?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I went to a Black Cat, I was so shy, you know, and years ago.
When would this have been, Ray?
When I was working with Safeways, like, I used to go there like on a Tuesday night,
yes,
to Vagina Pond.
Yes.
I get home, I was so shy about, in case someone spotted me there.
Ah, because you hadn't told anyone you were gay at the time.
Yeah.
So that must have been in the 80s, was it?
Yeah, early 80s. I'm 47 now.
God, you look so much older than that, Ray.
Cheers. At least I'm not losing my hair.
Yeah, me too, mate. That's why people keep saying to me, "Why'd you cut your hair so short?" Well, it's to hide the bald bit in the middle that's been appearing. Mind you, it's not as bad as Titti LeCamp's bald bit. She'll be calling in later as well, I hope.
I mean, without a Black Cat, like seeing you like on a Monday night when we used to go. I think you used to finish at about 10 o'clock on Monday night. And my friends and I used to come there like when it was about £1.50 a pint.
That was the cheap drinks night on Mondays and run from the beginning of the 90s, that one, sort of towards the middle of the 90s. And we had that going for quite some years, didn't we?
I think it was 70s and 80s night, if I remember.
We had, yes, that's right, oldies and trash 70s and 80s night. And we had quite a lot of years after that. But, of course, everything has its time. And what happened with the Monday nights, after so many years we'd been going, and then suddenly 2 new clubs opened. Well, not new clubs, 2 new nights opened. One in Heaven and one at GAY.
Yeah.
Now, actually, Ray, I'm going to correct you there. There were no cheap drinks at that. When we started that, there were no cheap drinks. The cheap drinks came in later. So we were just at full price, and on Monday night, 70s and 80s, we started it off, and it kind of ticked over. And then one bank holiday, I always remember, one bank holiday, it just filled up completely. This was a Monday bank holiday sometime in the 90s. I can't remember exactly when. And we were astounded by this. But not, I mean, it wasn't unusual to be packed on a Monday night. But anyway, usually on the bank holiday, they would put on the drag act. But we decided on this occasion to keep with the 70s and 80s, so that if people came and saw how it normally was on a Monday, they might come back. So this bank holiday, we opened the doors and it filled up. And, you know, Governor come up to me and he was quite pleased, and that well, they always are when there's loads of people in there.
At the time.
Yeah. And so that was that, and then the next Monday, a normal Monday, they all came back. And they kept coming back. And that was I suppose that was the jewel in my crown, really, those Monday nights for the 70s and 80s. And we got quite a few years out of those being totally and utterly packed. Indeed, I remember one night, it only happened once. I was on my way on the Euston Road, coming down there, and there was an accident. And I was supposed to start at 10 o'clock. I think it was 10 o'clock. It was either 9 or 10 o'clock. And I was stuck in this traffic, and I was on the phone and all this, you know, oh, so-and-so, how much longer are you going to be? And all this business. So I said, well, I can't move. Anyway, I remember arriving at 11 o'clock, and it was packed. And as I walked in, people, oh, you're late, and all that. It was quite funny, really. Anyway, we got a lot of years out of that, and it died because GAY in Heaven opened and went for the £1 a pint. Now, we weren't doing that. We had the full price, and very, very quickly it died. I've just got to see who this is on the phone here. Can you just hold on a minute, Ray? Is that John? Is that John? Hello? No. You still there, Ray? Hello, John?
No, it's Nathan.
Oh, Nathan. Can I just hold there, all right, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Yes, Ray. And what happened, our company, the company that owned it at the time, which isn't the one that owns it now, decided to stick with the normal pricing and see what happens. Well, 4 weeks later, we were empty, and it never really recovered, so they should have gone for the £1 a pint. But that's mine there, Ray. Anyway, thank you very much for calling in, Ray. All right, speak to you soon. But oh, he's gone, has he? Have you got 1 minute? Let me just, I think I've got to do that. Okay, there we are. Thank you, Ray. Good evening, Nathan. How are you?
Hello, Chris. I'm fine. How are you?
Now, let me tell you, this is Nathan Rayo. Nathan Rayo is one of the Daily Express writers, and he is the man you've often seen. I've been dying to do this for months, Nathan. Nathan is the man that writes those scare stories on the weather for the Daily Express, aren't you, sir?
Yeah. but we're here to talk about the dreadful news. You know, the black cat closing. I'll give you my weather.
What phone are you on? What phone are you on there? We can't understand what you're saying. What phone are you on?
I am on my computer. Can you hear me now?
Are you on Skype?
No, I have just plugged the number into my computer and I'm talking into it. Is that working?
It's not too good. You're not very clear.
What's the best? Because I can't find your Skype ID. United Kingdom Talk?
Yeah, all one word, United Kingdom Talk.
Right. I'll tell you what, have you got a minute? What you do is I'll ring you back in another way.
Right, okay.
And talk to you that way. All right.
Well, I'm going to take another call, so give us a couple of minutes while you sort yourself out, all right?
All right, Chris.
Okay, Nathan. Thanks. Bye-bye now. Bye. There we are, Nathan from the Daily Express. And another call. Who's that, please? Hello.
Good evening.
Who's that?
Good evening.
Hello, Ronny. How are you? Ronny, I've got to take your call in a minute. I've got Ray on the phone at the moment, and
okay, I can hold.
I asked him to take in. So yeah, all right.
I'll hold.
So come back to us in a few minutes' time. I hope this is Ray anyway. Okay. Cheerio.
I'll hold.
Hello, is that Ray?
Hello, it's Ray now.
Oh, there you go. Hello, Ray. How are you? Ray Reynolds.
Oh.
Tell us about yourself, Ray, first. Tell us about yourself, Ray.
Thanks for holding up the Shaft disc. That's lovely, isn't it? That
yes.
From 1973.
So let me tell you,
Brilliant.
boys and girls, this is Ray, who gave me all sorts of little bits and pieces in here today to show you on the show. For example, the Mrs. Shufflewick book. So
that was written by Patrick Newley, who was his manager for a little while, and I went to the book signing for that at Gaze the Word bookshop in Marchman Street.
Yes.
And poor Patrick Newley died within a year after I met him.
Right.
He died, and we had a lovely time together reminiscing about Shuff, and he told me so many stories.
Is that how Mrs. Shufflewick was known, Shuff?
Yes, actually, when you held that LP up, it said Shuff, and that
right.
people in show business, that's the most missing Shuff. That's Patrick's book. Yeah, lovely. But the LP signed as Shuff, and anyone, if you talk to anybody like Joan Turner was a famous star in the 50s. She used to drink in the Black Cab, and she would always call him affectionately Shuff, because everyone knew him as Shuff. Yeah, but he was quite a character. We were very fortunate, really, to have someone of his calibre in the Black Cat, because he was a huge radio star.
Who, Mrs. Shufflewick was?
Yes, and he did variety shows and musical shows on BBC Radio.
Right.
And he hit on bad times, really.
Yes.
And so the Black Cat took him under their wing, and he did quite a lot of variety work away from the radio.
Right.
He was always a good turn on radio, you know.
I didn't know he did a radio show.
Yes, he would be a guest star on a variety bill.
Right.
Can you imagine like the Palladium show on radio?
Yes.
Well, he would be one of the turns.
Right.
He might even be top of the bill. But this is we're talking about very early radio, you know. Some of your listeners, the older ones, will know how the BBC used to be. But they didn't they couldn't play many records, so they used to rely on live entertainment.
Right.
So we were lucky to get Shuff, but unfortunately he used to drink and he became unreliable. I did tell you, we were chatting about him the other night at Central Station. I was telling you he was booked to do the Parkinson show once,
right,
and would have been a wonderful guest, but he drank too much and it couldn't go on. but he did do Looks Familiar with Dennis Norden.
Yes.
He was a little bit worse for wear on that, I think. And he used to do the London Palladium with Dorothy Squires. I don't know if you know that name, but Dorothy Squires
I know.
was a singer from Wales.
Yes,
well, she used to book the Palladium and do a Sunday concert there in the 70s, and she used to ask Shuff to do a turn.
Yeah.
And the first time he did it, he behaved himself, and the second time he swore on stage and was pissed, and she had a row with him. And, Patrick Newley, who wrote that book, he told me all about these little personal things, you know. But as I say, we were most fortunate to get someone.
So Mrs. Shufflewick didn't start her career at the Cap, no?
Oh no. He would have been in reviews like I was going to tell you about Mark Fleming. Now Mark Fleming is an important man in the Black Cat, because again, this is a person who'd been in sort of reviews. They used to call them soldiers in skirts.
Yes.
Sometimes, if you watch Kenneth Williams or programs like that, they talk about soldiers in skirts. A lot of guys after the war wanted to get back to the theatre or whatever, and you remember the program in Ain't Half Hot Mum when they're out in Malaya or somewhere like that. Well, that's the Second World War, isn't it?
Yeah.
But later on, the people were in services or whatever, and they didn't have females in the troupe. And so sometimes you'd see people like Melvin Hayes in Ain't Half Hot Mum dragging up to...
Yes.
Well, a lot of those shows transferred from wartime, and then the services, they used to do reviews in theatres up and down the country.
Yeah.
Anyway, this guy Mark Fleming, I must mention him, Auntie Flo.
I've got something about him here, yes.
Yes, you've got Auntie Flo's obituary there, which I gave you, haven't you, from the Gay News, 1979. Well, he had a huge following he called everyone his boys. I think I mentioned that to you the other day.
Right.
He didn't go down too well with the girls, but he loved to call everyone his boys, and indeed they were.
Flo, yes.
Huge following. Mark Fleming did the Black Cap on Sundays, and he used to alternate with the Union Tavern in Camberwell Green.
Right, yes.
Camberwell New Road, sorry. And he had a huge following. He really was the first person I know that sent up the royal family. He used to make out he was sort of incognito with the Queen Mother or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He would send up the...
Oh, she was known for having
a... Your viewers and listeners would love this picture. That is actually waving goodbye outside the Black Cat, and that's Camden High Street behind him.
I've got that there, yes, waving goodbye. Yeah,
that's from the Gay News 1979. And as I say, you wouldn't believe the following that Mark Fleming got.
Yeah.
I can only compare it. You know when people used to rush to see Dame Midna Experience, Jonathan, down at the Vauxhall? Right. Well, you know that sort of cult following Jonathan got?
Yeah.
Well, it was exactly like that for Mark Fleming. But if you take it back to 1969, people would travel all over London just to see Mark Fleming. Auntie Flo was our favourite, you know. He was very rude sometimes on stage. He'd talk about... He'd go off the subject. He's diverse, really. He sang these very old musical songs, like I'm Just as Silly When the Moon Comes Out, or I'm Just Wild About Harry.
What night did he do, or was it it wasn't
he did
a Sunday?
Sunday lunchtimes with Mrs. Shufflewick.
Right, okay.
And I think he did a Thursday night down there. I was probably working, so I didn't very often see the Thursday night. But he, as I say, he was resident there and at the other big London pub that had drag. That was the Union Tavern.
Right.
And the Vauxhall was going as well. So really, they were the three main pubs where we had drag. I'll just change the subject slightly and tell you, you know our friend Norman, who used to DJ at Bolts?
Yes, Norman Scott. DJ Norman Scott, yes.
He's gone to Tenerife this morning, or no, Tuesday or Wednesday morning.
Yep.
And I mentioned about the Black Cat to him, and I think he sent you a couple of things on...
yes, he did, yes.
On whatever.
I've got a couple of pictures
and
here
he was saying... Well, he was a personal friend of Frankie Ray, who played the organ.
Right.
So he must talk about that lovely picture that I've only seen this week of Shane, someone called Shane, 1969. Did you see that on Facebook?
I didn't, no.
Well, that's a picture I've never seen. It comes from the Daily Mirror. And they actually called it, above the picture, they called it the Palladium of Drag.
That's right, yes.
Now, that is fantastic, really. And it really was.
Well, it was. It wasn't just a name, it was that.
Sorry, I'm talking over you.
Oh, just saying, it wasn't just a name, it was indeed the Palladium of Drag.
Absolutely. So I went there first in 1969, as I say. I saw Mrs. Shufflett, Mark Fleming. Shane, there's a picture there. He used to compare. And what you were saying... about gone off the subject. Frankie Ray was playing the organ there, and he was asked to do the Black Cat in 1968. He was doing a little pub, I think, in Finsbury Park or not Holloway. Just down from there. Hornsey, that's the place.
Hornsey, North London.
He was in a little pub in Hornsey doing drag, and then all of a sudden, someone said to him, "Look, they've got Irish music down the Black Cat, but." And Harry was the owner of the pub.
When are we talking about now? What sort of time are we talking
69, here? Something like that.
69, okay.
Something like that. And he got the residency playing the organ in the Black Cat. And Norman Scott, our DJ friend from Bolts, he said he went the first time they had it on a Sunday afternoon, and there was hardly anybody in there because nobody knew it was about to start. This Sunday, this sort of Sunday thing. You must remember that... such a long time ago, but it was 12 till 2. That's all we had.
That's right. Yes, I remember. That was the same with all pubs.
We weren't the door down at 12 o'clock to get in, but at 12:30 they used to come in. The show would start at 1 o'clock. Mark Fleming would come on and do his turn till 1:25. Then there'd be a little break. Then they'd get singers up. I think Mark Fleming's boyfriend used to get up and sing... Joe used to sing On the Street Where You Live nearly every week.
I don't know that. Sing it for me. Sing it for me now.
I have often walked down the street before you know that one. And after that, Mrs. Shufflewick would come on, and they'd do a little bit of Laura and Hardy together. I can best describe it as that. And Frankie Ray was playing the organ, and it was all over at 2 o'clock. And it was completely unscripted sometimes. They had an idea of what they were going to do, but it very often... if you got Shuff when he wasn't really, really drunk, he was fantastic. But sometimes he was a bit worse for wear, you know.
Yeah.
But no, they were fantastic together, and it was happy times, you know. So yeah, that setup you mentioned at the beginning, at the top of the show, the drummer. If you were a drag act who was live like Mark Fleming, you would probably be working with an organist, a keyboard player, we call him that,
and
a
no
drummer.
tapes.
Yeah, and very often the drummer was straight, the straight guy,
and drunk.
The drums. So he probably left. He'd got the booking, and he'd be a good send up for the drag artist, depending what type of person they were. They would send up the drummer because he was probably the only straight one on the stage.
Right.
You know? All those sort of gags, you know. But
when did you stop going there, Ray?
I stopped going to the Cap in about 1993, and I tell you why. I drunk there for 25 years, mostly on Sunday mornings, because like you, I had so much work as a DJ. I was usually working Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I couldn't wait to get back to my scene, and that was a Sunday morning down the Black Cap, and catch up with everything I missed at the end of the week. And I loved it. It was almost a really. It was better than church on a Sunday morning. And I've written down here a couple of notes. There was always a special show they did Easter Monday. Don't forget I mentioned those restrictions we had with the licensing laws. But Easter Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, they could put on a show from 12 noon till 5 in the afternoon, and every drag act in London would come on and do their Easter Monday show, and they'd have buckets, rattling the buckets for charity. And the charity was, Mark Fleming's charity, was Brinsworth House. That's the show business charity, the variety, Twickenham.
When is this now? When are we talking?
Steve Allen talk about Brinsworth House.
When are we talking now?
This is, again, still the 70s.
You're in the 70s, okay,
yeah. The 70s. And that was my best memory of a fantastic time at the Black Cat, because to see every major drag act turn up for charity on Easter Monday, it was really something special, you know.
Lovely.
I've written down some names. Do you want me just to mention a few names? How long do you want me to talk? Another 5 minutes?
Another couple of minutes. There's quite a few people trying to call in tonight.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I've noticed that if I can just tell people, when I'm on a call, I can add someone to the call, but it starts becoming very messy then. So if you wait for someone to finish and then call, then I'll grab whichever one comes up first. All right. So another couple of minutes, Ray. Give us the names.
I'll give you a few names, and then I'll finish up by telling you about Regina Fong. So I remember Rittal doing Around the World. Rittal. I remember Derek Reese, Carla.
Derek Reese, I remember, yes.
The Harlequins. I saw Phil Randall only last week or 2 weeks ago before he went to Thailand. He was with Steve Carroll. Sandy Graham and a guy used to do Tuesdays.
The Trollettes. You remember the Trollettes?
Trollettes, of course, Jimmy and David.
You gave me an album there, the Trollettes album.
Dow. The Disappointed Sisters were fantastic.
Yeah.
There's a black and white footage of that, a pantomime in the 70s, which I've got. David Dow replaced Gracie Grabbit Hall.
And there's a picture of you here with Regina Fong as well.
Oh,
you're looking very young now. Well, you even look, Ray, there. You look old there, Ray, and that was 20 years ago. What happened, mate? Did you ever look young? Ever?
There's Lee Paris. He did Sunday mornings.
Yes, I've got a
later
picture
on,
of Lee Paris here somewhere, haven't I?
And there's Jimmy and David. Yeah, that's the cricketers.
Yeah.
I've just got a few names to wind up. There was Nicky Young on a Sunday. Phil Starr did a Sundays. Julian Clary did Fanny the Wonder Dog there. Joan Collins Fan Club. Lee Paris, we've mentioned him. Amateur Nights on Tuesday started with Regina Fong. And now he inherited that from Gracie Grabbit, or one of the Disappointed Sisters. He had to do a Tuesday. So he said to me, Ray, you've got a lot of records. What can I mime to? I've got to put on the amateurs. And I was not thinking...
Ray, I've got to take this call now. If you...
Yes, go on.
All right. Hello, that must be Mrs. Moore. No. I was too late there. Yeah, 1 minute. Let's go back to that one. Ray, I'm back with you. Sorry, that was Mrs. Moore trying to call in then, but I wasn't quick enough. I've got to take her call. Yeah, I've got to take her call when it comes, because she's actually working at the moment, and so I'm kind of watching out for that one. When she drops in, that's the only one that I've got to sort of rush.
I'll just tell you the last part of the story. Yeah, Reg wanted me to supply a record for him or something to so we could mime and link the amateur nights together on a Tuesday. It was a free night on a Tuesday. And I didn't know really what he meant until he mentioned he liked Philip Schofield's BBC TV children's thing, and he mentioned the She-Ra cartoon. So David Rosen recorded the She-Ra thing the next week.
DJ David Rosen, who was there before me, yes.
Yes, and then I knew where Reg was coming from. So the first thing I put on disc for him, on cassette, we used to have a little computer cassette, was Sweet Susie, She'll Beat You to Death.
How's that go? Give us a good...
David Rosen put 3 whips on it, so Reg mimed to the 3 whips. And then I recorded things straight off the TV. There was the Janet Smith Bridal's High Shop aerial commercial. And one week, everybody brought in empty boxes of soap powder. We used to have boxes of soap powder, not like they are now. And they were all piled up in front of him as Reg did the skit on aerial, automatic, mimed to it beautifully, and then threw all the boxes up in the air. Completely unrehearsed and absolutely bizarre. And then I did a link of Listen with Mother with Psycho. I created that. And then I recorded people like Cilla Black and Marty Kane. And
Cilla Black, you're my world, you're my everything.
Night Train to Glasgow, all of these things. And I did about 12 out of about 20 jingles.
Yeah.
And they all became cults. And of course, David Rosen was brilliant in mixing what I...
Oh, have you dropped out?
Provided. Sometimes, I could do exactly what Reg was required of me.
Yeah.
But more often than not, David would tinker with it and then put on Reg's My Heart Belongs to Daddy thing at the end, and that was it. So that's about it. I'll put it in a nutshell. So let somebody else phone in now.
Lovely. Thanks, Ray. Wonderful to talk to you, and thank you very much for sending all your bits and pieces in there. It's very much appreciated, sir.
Love those pictures at the beginning on your credits.
I need to give credit to Titti LeCamp. She put all the little pictures together there, and I was hunting around and I left it till actually 9 o'clock, and I thought, do you know, I need a different opener for this particular show. And I thought, well, I haven't got time to... I wonder if Titti will mind. So I rang her up and said, do you mind if I use your thing? And she said, yes. So credit, please. And you'll see another bit of that right at the end. That's coming at 1 o'clock. So we're till 1 o'clock.
I'll see you on Friday.
Oh, yeah. Cheerio, Ray.
Take care.
Ray Reynolds there, boys and girls. He's a wonderful chap, he is. And he plays the ukulele and comes along to my little karaoke nights now. I'm hoping that that's going to be John on there. Let me just check. I'm looking at the wrong thing there. 1 second. 409, where are you? 40. Oh, come on. Why? No, he's dropped out again. He keeps dropping out there. That's not happening, is it? Let's try this one. Hello, who's on the line now?
Hello, darling, it's Ronny.
Hello, Ron, all right?
Hello, dear, how are you?
Now, if John comes on, I'm going to have to drop you straight away because he's at work.
Yeah, I know.
And I need to take that. So this is Ronny. What are your memories of the Black Cap?
My memories of the Black Cap...
I've got to take it. I've got to take this. Mrs. Moore, yes?
No, it's Adam from West Arrow.
Ah, damn. Adam, I'll have to call you... Take you in a bit. We got to wait for Mrs. Moore to call in. If you call in sometime afterwards, all right?
Okay.
Thanks, Adam. Cheers. Let's go back to that. Hello, Ronny. I'm there.
Hello, dear. How are you? Oh, you're back now, are you?
Yeah. I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the Black Cat was one of the first gay places that I went to, and I remember the DJ box was in the middle of the bar.
Oh no, you're not going to
right at the back.
You're not going to tell him the story, are you? I've got to tell you, Ronny's my best mate.
Yeah, and I was dressed quite seductively in a pair of dungarees.
Oh, they were awful, those dungarees.
One strap over showing off my little Twinkie body, and there was this DJ. I said to the barman, Noah, ask him if he wants a drink, and he come back and he said no.
I never used to drink.
At that time, I could pretty much have whoever I wanted. Well, not much has changed there, but you know, and
what, at 41?
And 35, and from that, I used to be in there pretty much every weekend for many years, on a Monday and on a Saturday, and it was always packed, and it was packed from the front door
all the way through to the toilets. Absolutely packed out. Absolutely rammed.
I remember when it was yesterday.
Memories.
I remember when it was yesterday. I really do.
I do. I'm looking back now at me dancing on the stage in a little pair of black leather shorts.
Oh, how vile.
Oh, the boys drooling around me.
Oh, please. Do you remember that time someone tried to chat you up and I came flying down the stairs?
Flying down the stairs. Yeah, he's got a boyfriend. But there was another side to the Black Cat. Every night was different. Like I'd come on a Monday and it was banged out and wonderful. I went on a Tuesday to a Regina Fong night, and I only ever went once. And I sat on the stage, and she came out and she went, "What are you doing sitting on my fucking stage?" And
do we have to have the swearing? We don't want the swearing.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm just saying what Miss Song said, and she kicked me off, and it was totally different. It was like a cult. It was like a cult thing.
Yes.
And all I remember was David Rosen holding a phone. You know the old phones.
I've got one of those here. I've actually got a red trim phone here. This is identical to the telephone that DJ David Rosen used to have and mix with. God knows how I don't know how he heard anything in that phone, to be honest.
I know, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. The different characters that you used to get in there. I mean, you've got bears and twinks and trannies and the whole shebang. And for the period of time that I was there was the time when being gay was really evolving. It was coming out of the shadows, and it was becoming more and more acceptable. And there was and obviously the very early 90s. It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful, and I think the Black Cat should be remembered for every stage of what it went through, the whole progression from Mrs. Shufflewick all the way through to meth. It shouldn't just be left on the meth part now. It should be remembered for the whole shebang and everybody that made a pass of it.
Right, got to take this, Ronnie. Do you want to go on hold?
Okay, put me on hold.
Okay. Mrs. Moore, I believe.
Hello.
Hello to the lovely Mrs. Moore. Now, let me tell you, boys and girls, Mrs. Moore is one of the very popular drag queens that's on the gay scene, certainly here in London at the moment. Hello, John.
Hello, Mr. Christopher Reardon.
How are you? Now, I've just been talking to Ray Reynolds, you wouldn't know, but he was kind of talking up to around about 1970s, early 70s. Now, you're near the other end, not quite the end, but sort of near the end we are now, aren't you?
Yes, I was sort of born in the 70s, if that helps.
So, when
I know that. She's slightly older than me. God love her.
Do you remember the very first time you walked into the Black Cap? How old were you? And
I can tell you the first time I ever went to the Black Cap, I didn't like it very much, actually, in all honesty. I was going out with someone called Alex at the time.
Yes.
And we went there on a Friday, and I wasn't keen. I was in a different place, still there. And then what happened is I moved round the corner from Camden, and the Black Cap became a local, which is, I think, the first time we met, because we know go back many years. And then I first went in on a Wednesday night, and Dave Dale and Mark Channing were doing their show on a Wednesday night, and I thought, this is bliss. This is bliss. This is just a lovely bit of drag entertainment, and it wasn't very busy, and I thought, I can't understand why this is not rammed here on that Wednesday. And then we met, and I subsequently got a job DJing there. You asked me to cover, and then I never left.
That's right.
And 20 years have passed.
Yeah, 20 years passed, didn't they? Christ.
Such
a long time. Now, you started, what you just said, like you started working there. You haven't told us what you started doing there.
Well, I was DJing. I went there to cover for, I'll tell you when it was around, I can't remember the year exactly, but it was when the licensing laws changed on a Sunday. I'd been there to see Lee Paris on a Sunday afternoon, when it used to shut at 3 o'clock. And then Sandra, our very own dear Sandra, started on the Sundays, and that's when it was open all day on the Sunday. Yeah. And I went in to cover for the DJ for a few weeks while he went to Edinburgh, I think. And then he never came back. Sandra said, I'd like you to stay. And then I never left, basically. I never left. So that would have been
sort of early mid 90s, 92. Well, let's go back 20 years. So yeah, we'll be sort of 93, 94-ish.
I always find that the scary thing when you say, yeah, it's around 92, and in my head I think, well, that wasn't long ago. Yes, it was.
Exactly.
Yes, it was. It was
the same thing, but I still feel I can still remember it. I can still.
Oh dear, we've just lost everything. We've just lost everything. I cannot believe it. I just cannot believe it. Oh gosh, I don't know what happened then, but all the power went out. So at this point, the live people have lost us. That's an absolute disaster tonight. An absolute disaster. So what I'm going to have to do is restart all the stuff now, and hopefully we can get back on fairly quickly. Fingers crossed, but let's see how we go. I mean, that really is a disaster for me tonight, for that to happen. But there we go. We try, we carry on, and we try, my darlings. Let's log back in there and try again. It's all gone completely. I'm so disappointed that's happened. It might have been me pushing the wrong blooming button, you know. There's a good chance that it was me pushing the wrong button, but we'll have to see. Fingers crossed for the moment. And we'll see what happens. It's just going to take a while to fire back up again, unfortunately. Hope you're enjoying this little special show that we've got going tonight, boys and girls, from United Kingdom Talk. I'm chatting away here, trying to fill in, you see. That's what I'm doing now. I'm trying to fill in. Now, let's fire some stuff up, and hopefully we'll be able to carry on. Where are we going? There it is. Oh, I can't even find it now. Where's that gone now? Okay, let's try and log back in there. Fire that up. Big blaster. Come on, up you come. Oh, total disaster, total disaster. Right. Oh dear. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to pick this up again at somehow. Not quite sure how. Where's the old live events then? Maybe there? Oh, this is absolutely hideous. Maybe it's on my channel, is it? Can we get back on there? I don't know if we can get back on there or not. What a disaster. What an absolute disaster. Oh gosh. Live events, that could be it. Hey, resume hangout. Fingers crossed this is going to work. Okay. Are we back? God dear me, that was an absolute disaster. Okay, I'm just trying to bring stuff back up again now for people. All right, just a second. What an absolute disaster. I hope you're still there, gang. I'm going to have to do something now, and I'll tell you how that happens in a minute. Let's see. Shocking, shocking. Let me see. What am I looking for? I can't think straight now since it's all gone wrong. I hope you're still there, boys and girls. I don't think John can hear what's going on now because he's not watching us. There we are. What a shambles. There we are. That's got that back in working. Take that down a bit there. Right, we should be back. Should be back. Are you still there? Because I am. Just. What a disaster, dear. What a total and utter disaster. But never mind. We should have the Skype back up and running in a second. Just give me a moment or two. That will take a little while to come back up there. But, yeah, John was just telling us there how he started and what have you. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get him back on the line and that. Sorry about that. I'll tell you what happened. There's some buttons next to me here. And I literally pushed the wrong one. Everything in here went off. I mean, everything. Everything that was on in here went off. Lights and everything. So I'm sorry about that. But we're back now. So we're just trying to fire up the Skype again, boys and girls. What a disaster. Never mind. We carry on. We carry on. Let's try and get this Skype back up online. Now, I was just telling you, right at the beginning of the show, some of the history of the Black Cap. During the 1980s, artists such as Reg Bundy performed his alter ego Regina Fong on Tuesday nights, attracting a following of Fongettes. Now, were you a Fongette? That's the question. You may be watching tonight. A Fongette may actually be with us tonight. Now, give me a second. I'm just waiting for the Skype computer to fire up, and then we'll be able to carry taking on calls. All right, let's put that up on there. And that's taking its time. You should be able to come in on that very, very shortly. And Regina Fong. Now, I only ever worked with Regina Fong, I think about 5 times altogether. So a lot of people thought I was the Regina Fong DJ, and I wasn't. She had her main DJ over the years was David Rosen. And he is the reason that one of the reasons I managed to get a job there as well. Because there was an audition. 1989, there was this audition. And lots of people went in for this audition. And I got the job. And he was one of the people that decided I got the job. So I was sort of eternally grateful to David Rosen, who remains a good friend to this day. David Rosen, actually now, his job now, he drives a minicab. That's what he does now. Now, I don't know why, but I'm not getting this Skype computer up, which is a damn shame, because we really do want to talk to some people. Shall I wait a bit longer, or shall I try and restart it? What do you reckon? I'm not quite sure what to do, because I know you can't contact me at the moment now, can you? Oh, dear. On to this. The pub in 1986 film With Nell and I is the Mother Black Cap, which stood in Tavistock Crescent. Its name was possibly a combination of the Black Cap and another Camden pub, the Mother Red Cap. In more recent times, the Black Cap had become home to the Meth Lab, which is another artist who is very much of modern times. She was kind of head of a group of drag queens known as the Family Fierce. So that's what happened. And it closed on Sunday night without any warning. Now, I'm not having any luck with this Skype. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut that down. I think we're going to have to restart the Skype computer. Otherwise, we can't take any calls. And retry. I'm not getting anything happening at all on this computer now. And it's not exactly the fastest computer to start up either. Never mind. We had some messages come in earlier on, boys and girls. Now, John, that's not oh, hang on a minute. Hang on, we might be lucky here. Are you going to work for me now, baby? Which keyboard are we on? It's all very technical. I never usually have this trouble, you know. No, we're restarting. Damn. So that's another 5 minutes of waiting for calls. I have to pad out for another 5 minutes, am I? You're loving this, don't you love it when it goes wrong? Oh, God's sake. And Mrs. Moore sent in a little message earlier who said, hi, love, I'm working, so can't phone in. But she did fortunately find a couple of minutes to phone in. But please send a shout out to all the staff, DJ and performers and customers that we have ever had the pleasure of sharing the space with on my behalf. So thank you very much for that, John. Nice of you to send that in, my darling. I found this on Sandra London's wall. Now, again, Sandra, top-class drag artiste, who says, half of my life was spent at the Black Cap. So sorry to see it go. Yeah. Aren't we all, Sandra? Thank you, Sandra. Let's just try and help this along a little bit. Right. And we'll restart that now and see what happens now. Keep your fingers crossed and we'll be able to go back to the phones at some point. Oh, I'll tell you what I could do. Let's have a go there. Right. I'm just wondering if it will work. No, the mobile phone won't work, will it? If I hold that up to the thing. No, never mind. Now, cabaret artiste. Millie Turner, hugely popular in the big Black Cap, and I worked with her many, many times in the 90s, and a real professional, Millie Turner. Let me tell you, she would turn up for work, to perform her show, literally at the crack of dawn. A lot of drag queens, they come in, maybe half an hour, some of them, a little bit longer, some others, before they're due to do a show, and they come in, get ready. Millie Turner would be there generally before me. So if there was a show on at 12 o'clock, Millie Turner would be there at kind of 9:30. Seriously. Honestly, as early as that. She'd be there about 9:30 before me. And let's hope this is going to work this time. Put the password in and wait for that to fire up now. Keep your fingers crossed, boys and girls. Say a few prayers to the Mother Black Cat. See, the curse. It's the curse, dear. That's what it is, the curse. And Millie would be there earlier than me getting ready. And I found this on Millie's wall tonight. With feelings running high and information askew, I wasn't sure what to say about the closure of the Black Cap. So until now, I've said nothing. And even though the story really hasn't ended yet, for now, I'll just say this. My mum always said to keep out of pubs. And I'm glad it's the only advice from her I ignored. Because whatever the future holds for the venue, I thank every single person who has been a part of my life experience via the Black Cap, in which I've made bonds with great friends, lovers, work colleagues, and associates since my late teens. There isn't not much I've not done there. I'm not sure about that English there, Millie. There isn't not much that I've not done there. Is that good English? Do we have any English teachers with us tonight? I've celebrated, mourned, cooked, drank, eaten, drank, picked friends off the floor, been welcomed in, been thrown out, slept. Have you actually slept at the Black Cat, Millie? Have you what, while it was closed? Did you hide away in a corner of the stage or something? Not the corner that I used to have, because I used to have a little corner there. You may remember this, regular people. I did have a little corner there, and there would be a chair on this corner, right? And if there was someone sitting on that chair, people would know that I'd pulled. It's true. There was a little chair in the corner. If that chair was full up, people would know that I've actually pulled. She says, cheered, laughed, drank, cried, been felt up. Well, you get the picture. Felt up? What do you mean felt up, dear? Is that some sort of game? Like fuzzy felt? Is that what you mean there? Not quite sure what you mean there, dear. Thinking about the place, my emotions run deep. But the many precious memories are priceless. Alas, the price to buy the old girl is not £12 million. Because I did see somewhere that the Skype is just coming up now. Okay, this will be okay in a couple of minutes, all right? £12 million. I've seen that advertised, actually. The price of buying the back clap, I believe, is £12 million. That's an awful lot of number. We might be able to grab this call now. Hello, who's that?
It's me, dear.
Oh, there you are, Rob. Oh, what a total disaster that was.
Not a disaster. Not a disaster.
Do you know what happened?
You leant on something.
No.
You clumsy sod.
You know this little white remote control? Well, I've got it's so hot in here tonight. I've got the air conditioning on, but I turned the wrong one off and everything, all the computers and everything went off.
Oh, God.
But we've carried on recording, but that's one of those things anyway.
It's quite funny. I was just listening to you talk about your corner with the chair.
Oh, yes.
And the chair that I used to sit on.
Yeah.
And do you remember what you used to get me?
No.
Dot-to-dot books.
What do you mean, I never got you dot-to-dot books?
Yes, you did. I used to sit in the corner and I used to do dot-to-dot and word search books, waiting for you to finish.
But look at the wonderful places that I used to take you out to.
What, Dorothy's?
Would you like to tell them what Dorothy's is?
Yeah. It was a tacky little fish and chip shop near where you lived in Berkshire.
There was nothing wrong with Dorothy's.
There wasn't, no.
Oh, where did you want to go? Bloody Ivy or somewhere like that?
Oh, you wouldn't have paid for that.
No, correct. I wouldn't have.
When we was just listening to Little John, I remember having the laughs with him, the drinking and the pulling and the boys and the messing around, and it was just fun. It was just fun, and obviously, there was sometimes there was a bit of trouble. Some queen would slap another queen, or a lesbian.
There was rarely actually any trouble while I was there. I thought,
but very rarely, and it was all good, dirty fun. There's many things that I've done in there that I can't tell you because I was with you at the time. One in each court.
Have you gone again? He's gone again, hasn't he? Where have you gone now? Oh, God, nothing works. Nothing actually works. The call dropped. It's call dropped. So that's, I don't know. Right, we got a line free now if you want to call in. 020-8144-3477, okay? 020-8144-3477. A line is now available. I'm sure this is working. I'm sure it's going to work all right now. Got a couple of messages to do. Hello to Terry H, who's with us this evening, who's listening in bed. Hello, Terry. Hope you're well tonight. Quietly listening. Are you under your covers? And good evening tonight to Matt Martins, who's listening in Canada to the show this evening. Hello, Matt. Hope you're well tonight. Thank you very much to Marge, who has cast a spell to protect my computer from the gremlins that have got into it this evening. Well, it wasn't really gremlins. Let's just put this here. There we are. All right, so there we are. We've got, you can call in now if you want to. 020-8144-3477. If you've got Skype, you can try Skype. Our Skype username is all one word, United Kingdom Talk. Perhaps Nathan's still there. I don't know if you're still there, Nathan. Give us a call, okay, Nathan? 020-8144-3477 or on the Skype, all one word, United Kingdom Talk. Okay. Whoever's first, I'm ready for your call. Let's just go back to this little bit from Millie Turner, who says about it costing £12 million to buy. I mean, who's got that sort of money? But the good news is I've got a lottery ticket. I've got a lottery ticket tonight, boys and girls. Okay? Now, if someone could possibly have a look at the lottery numbers this evening, then maybe I've won the lottery, okay? And I could buy the black cat. And I would run it with as it was in the 90s. I think that's how I'd run it, as it was in the 90s. Even maybe at a loss. If I won that much money, I could almost give the drink away, couldn't it? And we could just all have one big party all the time. Is that a good idea or not? I don't know, really. Right. Right, we'll try and get someone up now. There we are. We've got a couple of voice messages there. I can't really do voice messages. That's the trouble, because I don't know what the voice message is. Thank you, Marge. Ready for your call. There we go. We've got a call up now. Okay. Let's do that one. Hello, who's on the line now, please?
It's me.
Who's me?
Sorry, it's Titti.
Hello, Richard. All right?
All right. Am I behind on you on your...
You've got to stop the program going while you're talking to me. That's the only thing.
Okay, all right, I've done that.
Yeah, we just had a little bit of a disaster. Did you see that?
I know, you have, bless you.
Oh, dear me. Never mind, we're back now and it's all sorted.
Okay, are we on live now then, are we?
You are indeed, yes, you're chatting to the world.
Well done, Chris, for getting that sorted.
So Richard is...
Great call. Ray's call was fantastic, wasn't it?
Tell us who you are first.
Sorry, so I'm Richard, and my stage name is Titti Camp, and I've performed monthly, weekly over the 20 years of the Black Cap, and I went in the first time in the mid-80s, and watched all those acts that Ray was talking about, and some others to name, Rebel, and Dave Dell, and people like that. And then in 1992, I entered a talent competition in there, won that, and that's how my career started. So really, the Black Cap has given me a life I never dreamed of before going into that venue.
And it was a talent show you won, wasn't it?
It was a talent competition, which the legendary Regina Vong was judging, along with a few of the other regular acts in there, Nicky Vixen, who became a good friend of both of ours.
Yes.
And so yeah, you know, and then straight afterwards, you know, I was so elated that night of winning, and I remember going up to the bar and saying to Reg, you know, oh, thank you for voting for the vote of confidence. And she went, it wasn't me, dear. Which totally shattered the whole win. But then she did come up to me about an hour later. She went, right, now I want you to do my Tuesdays with me. And she had a group of about 5 or 6 acts that she regularly would put on with her, and we were her guest spots. And she always had another act called Sade, and she hasn't been mentioned tonight, but another, you know, bless her, she's passed on as well, and but no, legendary performer as well. And so, you know, the relationship of, you know, working with Reg from 92 up until he passed on in 2003 were, you know, some of the greatest memories I know I'll never relive as a performer.
Yes.
And you know, it was something very unique. She performed in other venues, I did, and as I know, you did as well. But there was something about the Cap, wasn't there?
Oh, absolutely! It's just a totally magical place, and I think I was there 89 to 2007. Really, I should have left 2002, 2003. You know, my time had gone then. It had gone what I did, and I just, you know, it just didn't work for me after that, I don't think. But there was something that stopped you leaving. You know, other jobs were offered, and I just couldn't take them.
Yeah. It's you know, it's just we get venues opening up all the time and things like that. You know, the Black Cap, and Ray mentioned it earlier, the Royal Vauxhall Tavern down at the Vauxhall, actually, funny enough. These venues, you know, had a properly built stage.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You don't get venues like that.
No, you don't. You don't. Well, you rarely do.
Door,
yeah.
You know, for people that haven't been in there, your eyes were directed towards the stage. You know, and you were up there as well. The DJ box was at the back of the stage.
Yeah.
So that was the focal point, and it's always been that way.
You remember, of course, I think one of the biggest mistakes they made there is when they took the DJ box off the stage and put it at the end of the bar. You remember that?
Yeah.
Actually, you won while it was like that, didn't you? Isn't that when
yes, there was no DJ. You were facing me, which was a disaster because if I, for people that don't know me, I'm a sort of mime act. And so if I hadn't brought a costume or something like that, I could, you had to tannoy you.
Yes.
You weren't plugged into the tannoy. And,
yes.
And, getting the show ready, you would come in and collect this, but you'd have to fight your way through the dance floor and, and it did stop people coming down to the front, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because they would hover around the DJ box.
Yeah.
But this whole culture of the sort of performing. When I went, Ray went up to the end of the 80s, 70s, and and still at that time, the Black Cat was a 1-floor level venue with 2 rooms, and you had the toilets in the middle. So you would pay your 50p to get into the back bar.
50 pence, dear. What can you get for that now?
I know. Not a bag of nuts, can you, dear? And when I first went in there, he was talking about Shane and Shufflewick and Mark Fleming, who, were great performers. He's actually, bless him, Ray's given me recordings of all those, and I love all those. But in the 80s, mine was the main attraction. And it was very glamorous, and the Harlequins, and so everyone was a mime act.
I never forget.
Died down.
I never forget, and mine was. I mean, that to me was drag when I first started. It was there was a lot of mime, and that was all part of it to me. I never forget, Richard. I'll never forget, and this is quite recent. Just a few years ago, when you were hosting Drag Idol at the Two Brewers. And a mime artiste had been on and done a thing, and then you were hosting and you went to the judges. Do you remember? And one of the judges said, do you remember what one of the judges said when you'd say, "What do you think?"
Oh, I do, and it's one of the very few times I think I went ballistic on stage.
You did.
He virtually, there was a mime act, and he said there was no craft to mime. And believe you me, there is. It's extremely difficult to come up with. When you're just using your body to entertain. It's like dancing or something like that. But he just said there's no art to it. Anyone could do that. And without giving his name, but he used to run a sort of theatre down in Clapham, and I sort of retaliated that I'd seen some of these productions and they were shit.
Yeah.
But funny enough, I never saw that guy for 3 years. I saw him recently.
Don't say the names, but you remember who it was, because I don't remember who it was. But I never forget that he said this about mime artists were finished or something like that, and then your face, I thought, oh my God, I can't believe you've just said that.
Yeah, well, it's the one thing that I'm quite defensive about with it's the one thing about gay venues and as drag performers is we can cover a variety of styles.
Yeah.
And
can I put you on hold a second?
Yeah,
that's Mrs. Moore trying to call in. I'm sure it is.
Let her back on.
Stay there. That Mrs. Moore?
While I'm talking. Hello.
I'm really sorry about that, John.
On the radio.
Really sorry about that.
Wind.
Eh?
I was just breaking wind.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's why we went off.
Am I live on the wireless?
You are live on the wireless now. Yes, please keep it clean. Now, where did we get to?
I was just saying about when I first started midnight. We've got a lot going on where I'm working at the moment. So a new breed of drag, RuPaul's Drag Race, blah blah blah.
Is that what you're doing tonight? Is it?
Yes, I'm in the front bar of the Brewers. The lovely Bianca Del Rio's just gone in the back bar, so it's all a bit crazy.
Right.
But I didn't know I was live breaking wind on the wireless. But there we are. So I'm back to where we were. Early 90s when I first moved round the corner from the Black Cat. That's when I first started, and that's when we first met.
Yes.
And then went in there and was DJing, and it's many years, met many fabulous people, Regina, but with lots of fabulous people.
Yeah.
And then yeah, sort of the last sort of 8-9 years, really, it was Regina and Millie Turner asked me to join.
Yeah, because as well as, you know, you started doing the DJing, and then you did the drag, and I remember, you know, it took you years.
Yes,
people kept telling you to do it, and you just wouldn't do it.
Yes, yeah.
And I got to say to you, and I mentioned this in West 5, I think it was a few years ago now.
That's right.
And I'd seen you start, and I thought, no, she can't do it. And then you came on West 5 a few years ago on a Friday night. You did your show. You came up, and I went up to you, and what did I say to you? You've done it.
You should do it.
You've made it. And I swallowed my words.
No, and touch wood, you know, I'm doing that now. But yeah, it's gone. I knew the last sort of 4 or 5 years, I was gonna make it go up and down the country, and because I was only really doing sort of 2 venues.
Yes.
And I needed to either do something else to use my brain and think, or I've got to make this work as a career.
Yeah.
And touch wood, it's gone better than I ever could have imagined.
It really has, hasn't it? I tell you what,
the support I've had from everyone has been amazing.
I've tried to merge your call. Is Titti, are you still there?
Oh, I am. I'm listening in. Is this a three-way conversation?
Can you hear? Can you hear each other?
Oh.
I can hear you.
Hello, Moose.
Hello, darling. That's your number 6, please.
Right. Can I just break in here, though? I've just got to say, because I knew, obviously, John when he was DJing, and when we got together for our Christmas Eve shows as the Dolly Mixers with Reg, and John was so nervous as a performer, he would be throwing up in the sink.
Oh, God, do we need to know that, dear?
It just goes to show how much he's moved on now to be one of our top performers. I'm very proud of him. Very proud of you, John.
Thank you, Titti. Bless you for that. And may I just say, on Sunday when it closed, and they asked me at the last minute to go in and be the last top of the bill, sing the last song, sort of thing. And I sang and I stood on that stage and I dedicated I Am What I Am to every person that has ever graced that stage. I've never shook so much. I think I was more nervous, I was more shaking than I ever was when I first did that first show.
Yes.
I really was.
Yes.
There was so much emotion in that 3 minutes.
I don't think I could have done that. So, full credit to you. Because,
no, there was a lot. I stood there and it was for everybody, all of my friends, all of my peers, colleagues, and anyone that's ever been on a stage. There was so much going on for me, and I shook so much. I hoofed it, blah, 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 that Mrs. Moore does, But I was seriously shaking so much because there was so much emotion, so much history, so much life.
And you knew the history as well, like Ray was talking earlier on about, before our era, obviously Shovelwick and, but we were part of Regina, and that was a real privilege. You know what I mean? It's ended now, or, as far as we know, but we've got lifetime experiences and memories.
Yes, and I will say with Neff and all that, they stood there on that stage and they credited everyone that's been there before. I know the last couple of years of the CAP has been their sort of, their thing, and then a whole new breed of people have gone in and don't really know the history of what happened before and everything. But I was there, someone was there before me, and that was all encapsulated on Sunday when it finished, and it was so nice to hear the new people reference all those other artists and everything that made it possible for them to be there, and that was genuinely beautiful. It was so lovely, so lovely.
Yeah. Was that the last song, John? Was it I Am What I Am? Was that?
Yes, yeah. They asked me last minute on Sunday. I didn't know much about it. There were rumours, but it was all very last minute. And they asked me, I thought, well, what can I do? What can I do? I went on and I told Four Citizens what I thought of them. We can't say that on the wireless, but it was 1 4-letter word. But there we are. We'll leave that there. But yeah, I just thought, well, what can I sing? It's an iconic song anyway. It means a lot to a lot of people when it comes from a show about drag and it was I just thought, that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to do that one song, and I dedicate it to everybody. I stood there with all of my heart and with all of my being, for anybody that has stood there beforehand, that allowed me to be there to grow who I am today, and for everybody that's going on after that. And there was a lot going on. Yeah, I was shaken. I was very shaken.
There'd never be anything like it again. I was talking I was talking to Richard on the phone earlier, and you know that everything I do is everything for me. Everything I do is a job. Okay. Now I've been at places for not quite as long at the Black Cat, but nearly. You know, but they have always been just job. You know, whereas the Black Cap is a very personal thing. It is part of you, isn't it?
Well, we grew up there, didn't we?
Yeah, well, we did.
I mean, I went in there when I was 20. The last time I was in there was New Year's Eve the year before. So well, not giving my age away there, but good.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Almost did that there, didn't I? But, you know, 25 years and... You know, I was talking to Nicky Vixen earlier. You know, we said we all probably got memories we'd like to forget. But I've just got wonderful memories. And you played that montage earlier on of all the pictures I put on.
I've got another one. I've got another one. If you're still awake, I've got another one right at the end, and I think you'll like what I've done with the music as well. That's right at the very end.
But all my favourite images, all those images came from the Black Cap. Yes. And that says everything, you know. Yes. And I was quite happy to go. I've got a day job now, and I'm just getting to that time in life where I want to do something different. And I was quite happy that it was going under a new breed and all that lot.
Yes.
And so I feel for them as well. It's been robbed. It's been robbed.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And you're right. I don't think there will be somewhere like it again.
No. And on Sunday, it was nice that the new lot of people, they all described it as a word of family, love, real people. Like I've always said, I've always described it as my front room. I spent more time in there than I have in my own front room.
Yeah.
But what I love about the Cap, for all of its quirky people, it's randoms, blah blah blah. It's real people.
Yeah.
It's real people, and that has not changed. I've met some diamond friends, some beautiful people, work colleagues, friends. And that's,
one thing you could never say was pretentious.
Never.
Right.
Never.
Real people.
Never.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, because when I was like travelling up north and doing Blackpool, everyone in the country knew the Black Cap. It was everyone wanted to work the Black Cap, and it was known internationally.
Yeah,
indeed. And it earned that because of its history as well. And so we were part of that history. It's a real honour to be able to say that.
Indeed, I agree, absolutely, 100%. And that's what's nice. Everybody that still worked there in the last 8 years, they still refer to that, and that's nice. That means that what's gone through there, the vibe, the heart of the place is still there, affecting the new people, albeit whatever breed of drag it is.
I've got a little.
They still refer it to that, use those words, which is wonderful.
I've got a little message for you here, John. Someone's emailed in here. It says, "Hi, Chris. I first started visiting the Black Cap in summer 2006, and the memories made there are ones I'll cherish forever. Saturday nights were our favourite at the time, with Little John on the decks. At the end of the night, the screen would come down. I mean, I don't know this. The screen would come down, and I just want to...
You went out the door by 10 too, so you would...
I just want to dance would be played, which usually signalled us taken to the stage. Too many memories to mention, but that is my standout one from the Cap last summer."
No, that's fab. We've...
Have you gone? Oh, I think we've lost John there. No, there he is. There he is. We've got him. There he is. Go on, John.
But
I'm
he's
just
quite
doing
camp.
what I'm doing, trying to make everybody have a good time.
But when I won the talent competition...
Oh!
But when you hear stuff, everybody
goes...
What's going on there?
But when I won my talent...
Let's... John, are you still there? No, we've lost them both now. Oh, God's sake. And it's wonderful. This is this Skype-in thing. I thought it's never been a problem before. It's only tonight that it's been a problem. Whoa. Now, which one is he? There he is. You there, John?
Hello, I'm back.
That's it. I got you back. You're on your own now. You're on your own now. Titti, Titti, something went wrong there, and you both dropped out for some reason. But
I've had trouble as well. I'm on the Poundland Wi-Fi.
A Poundland Wi-Fi.
Someone coined it to me.
That's a bit like your costumes, darling. Oh no, I think we've got. Let's just try this, and Ad. Is that
I'm
you,
back.
Rich?
We're back. I was just saying, Titti, I was on Poundland Wi-Fi. So.
I don't like giving Chris that power just to cut me off like that.
I had a reputation for while I was DJ there, as in wanting the drag on and off as quickly as possible. That was Millie, and I never understood. She said, "Yes, you just want us on and off as quickly as possible." Well, I carried that on then, and I would go in there. "All right, Millie, just half a number tonight, please."
Oh, you had Chris, you had that reputation, which I obviously could always laugh at because it was so cheeky. The way you used to bring us on was, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen it 1,000 times before, but here she is. And, you know, I used to think, oh, you've taken the breath out of me just as I was about to walk on stage. Your first thought was, cheers, Chris.
I did get told. I got told off by Kelly Wilde, the singer Kelly Wilde, once first, because I brought her on. "Please welcome tonight, dressed in bin liners, Miss Kelly Wilde." She weren't happy with that one.
But she's still singing the same songs. We love you, Kelly. I hear you so much. Anyway.
She'd do our first show in the Wings, wouldn't she? Bless her, before she came on.
Oh, she was fab. Do you remember the big charity nights there? The big charity ones.
Oh, and we did loads of them, didn't we? You know,
yes.
Especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yes, and it always on the bank holiday weekend.
Yeah.
And that was the deal. You used to come on, do a couple of numbers at the charity. We give you a couple of bookings.
Yeah.
That's changed. That's changed.
Yeah, you do the charities and don't get the bookings now.
Nowadays, you have to pay for the privilege to be on a...
I'm going to register myself as a charity and see what happens.
Well, I certainly remember when I first started there in 1989, Chris Holliday was running the place. And this was before you, John, and if there was to be a charity night, there would be crates of drink in the dressing room for people. I always remember that.
Slowly diminished.
They were absolutely drunk when they went on stage.
I think that might have diminished when they heard I was on board.
When they had what on?
When I was on board, don't put any booze in there. This is more
and I think the other thing to remember when we talk about, you know, especially the way we're talking now, but our highlight as performers was in that dressing room. You know, my favourite memories are always going to be that dressing room, which, you know, was, you know, attached to the toilets in there. And you know, just it was many happy memories.
What the public don't see per se, but it's always. But Backstage is always a bigger laugh, especially on those days, like you say, Titti, with the charities and things, because it's those sort of times when all the performers get together because we sort of pass one another up and down the country or whatever on various things. But when you have a day like that, usually it's the one time when we all get together. We've all got to do our little 10, 15-minute spot or whatever. But we're all having a laugh. We're all having a catch up.
Did you manage to stick to your time, John, or did you run over time like most people do?
I'm one of the, I think you'll find like Titti, I'm a consummate professional. Don't ask me to spell consummate. I've no consummate, but don't ask, you know. No, I'm one of the ones. You've got your 15 minutes. Pick your songs, make the 15 minutes. Where it's all these new ones that turn up and think 15 minutes means I'm going to do my show.
Yeah,
that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's me having a showbiz moan there about some of the upstarts. But I love the way I say this, like I'm one of the old girls.
You are one of the old girls, dear.
Oh, well, I'm old.
You know, and the other thing's going, you know, it had really good sound. I mean, that dressing room wasn't enormous, but like I say, when it was packed, we all got on, and it was a family. You know, everyone. You know, me, John, Millie, you, Chris, anyone that's gone through that's worked there. We are one big family, even though we're now scattered to the wings doing our own little things. You know,
that's one of the venues that is a place where everybody still holds that to that core. Absolutely.
Now you better go back and do some DJing, hasn't you, Mr. Moore, Mrs. Moore?
I've done what you do.
I doubt that. Have you learned how to turn the computer on yet at all?
It is, but I still want the M's missing on the computer. So any song that has an M in it.
Are you front or back tonight? Are you front or back?
I beg your pardon?
Are you in the front bar or the back bar?
Christopher dear, come on, we've had it off under the moon.
Please, please. Oh my God.
Oh, don't panic, Chris. Only 11 people are watching.
She told me off because my breath smelled of poppers.
Will you stop it, dear?
Well, I'd just like you to know this. In the beautiful, the live theatre for everyone all around the world that's listening to this, I'm stood outside the Tibbers looking at a portaloo. So there we are. Show business can be a very cruel but fabulous world.
Well, please don't use it in the public. Well, thank you for calling in, Mrs. Moore. Back to work.
See you later, Moose.
I think he's disappeared. Has he already?
Has he gone? Has he? Yeah.
I think he might have gone. Yeah.
He's great lad.
Right. Well, I'm just
the cab is the end of era. It's and it was still moving forward. It was still, but I will leave with, like, say, some of my best memories. Performing solo, performing Regina, working with Spike Rhodes, the drama queens. And say meeting so many wonderful people. So at the end of it, I've taken out, more than I could ever hope from a venue. So, like I say, end of an era, Chris.
Yeah. Well, thanks ever so much for calling in. It's been wonderful to chat
Great
like
show,
that.
Anyway, I've really enjoyed tonight. So well done.
Yeah, I'm sorry it shut off there halfway. It was me pushing the wrong button.
Oh,
That's what happened.
Yeah, I know you were panicking about it, but you still.
I've been worried about this all day. I've been worried about this particular show for days. I'm telling you that now.
Well, do some more because this was been a great one. And anyway, so great show, Chris. And I was just going to say one more thing that I mentioned earlier, and this is for you as well. One of the nicest things, and I think your caller that worked in Morrison's, was that Ray as well?
It was indeed Ray. Yeah, right.
When he phoned in and he said he was nervous. I used to be that exactly the same. My first time in the Cap and watching the cabaret sort of performers, and I wanted a track. And someone said, just ask the DJ. The DJ was yourself, and I was terrified. But you said, come in tomorrow night, and you gave me that cassette.
Have you gone?
No. Most DJs you ask, either just to pay a record and you're stranded off, and you did that for me. So, and I, things like that you always remember. So
yeah, absolutely. I just remember the whole thing.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Richard. Lovely to talk to you, sir. All right.
I'll see you down at the Brewers Lab.
Yeah. Cheerio now. Bye-bye.
All right, Chris. I'm off. Bye.
Ta-ra now. There we are. There's lovely Richard to talk to Richard today on the phone there. Drag queen Titti LeCamp, if you want to have a look at him up on the Google or the Facebook there. Another call coming in now. Who's that?
It's Adam in West Dulwich.
Hello, Adam in West Dulwich. Oh, that's posh there, isn't it, Adam?
No, posh as it gets, yeah.
It's very posh there. Just before you chat to you there, Ronny just wanted one more little bit here. He said, it's just do me one last quote. That's Ronny got cut off earlier. Thank you to the Black Cat for bringing me out, bringing me up, and bringing me to you, my best friend. That's me, actually. And all the wonderful people and artists and DJs I've had the pleasure to meet with. Thank you, Ronny. Lovely to see you there. Anyway, Adam, your thoughts, your memories. Yes, your memories.
Well, let me go back in history, back to 1988 when I first walked through the doors of the Black Cat.
That's before me, Adam.
I know.
I started 89.
I won't tell you what age I might get arrested.
What did you go in? Were you underage when you went in there the first time?
Yeah.
Quite.
I was 16.
Oh, 16. What was it then? 18 or 21?
21 back then.
Was it really? Gosh.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
21 back then. So,
what was your first night?
First night, I can't remember I think it was a Regina night, if I remember rightly. A friend of mine, a transvestite friend of mine, took me down there.
Yeah.
And I was just taken back by all the sparkling lights and all the drag queens and everything, and it was just amazing. And then after that, I became a fonette.
Right. And you like the old Regina Fong, didn't you? Do you remember the music? Can you sing it?
I do indeed. I remember it well.
You might hear a little bit of that at the end.
Oh, good. Well, I've still got my Regina Fong t-shirt.
Oh, have you?
Yep.
I bet that stinks now, doesn't it? Have you ever washed it?
It doesn't even fit anymore, dear. It all went north for winter.
Did you put on a little bit of weight, Adam?
Just a little bit, sweetheart. Just a little
So
bit.
your first night there, who was the cabaret on that night?
As I say, it was Regina.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was Regina on that night.
Yeah.
I couldn't be 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was. And then I went on after that and sort of going there for a few years, and I ended up going into the talent competition.
Yes.
The amateur talent competition.
Amateur talent night. Now, who was the host of that?
That was Dave Rosen.
He was hosting at the time. Oh, so I was pushing the buttons then, was I?
Yes, because I don't know if you can remember it, but I came on and done Always Look on the Bright Side of Life with one of my numbers. And I actually sprung out. Do you remember the trapdoor on stage?
Yes.
I actually sprung out of that. and David was sitting on his chair, his famous throne, and nearly fell off the end of the stage because he was so shocked. That was, I burst out doing Always Look on the Bright Side of Life.
Oh, my word, the old Monty Python number.
Yeah, that's it, yeah, and I was in a loincloth as well in my slightly slimmer days, let's say.
A little bit like that, like in The Lion Sleeps Tonight, one of those sort of outfits, was it?
That sort of thing, yeah, something along those lines. I can't quite remember what it was now, but I seem to remember that it was that and some high heels.
Yeah.
Some strange concoction I put on for that evening.
Oh, gosh.
And then moving forward, I ended up working at the Black Cap.
You were a barman there, were you?
I was barman and also the scrubber.
And who did you work there for?
I worked for, actually, I started off working for Simon, who had the Bell in King's Cross, because after Chris Holliday left, Simon took it over temporarily. And I came in one night and said, could I hang the coat up? And he said, oh, I'm terribly sorry, we haven't got a check coat boy tonight. So, well, I'll do it if you want. And that was my career started.
And then you had a job there. Has anyone got any idea where Chris Holliday is now? I'd love to send him a message or something, because I very much doubt that he knows what's actually gone on.
Oh, God knows what happened to me. He just sort of disappeared.
I've looked on the Facebook, but it's actually a very common name, Chris Holliday. It's just impossible, to find him, unfortunately. I don't know what he's doing now.
Was he American, wasn't he?
He was indeed American. I'm sure he went back to America, which makes it even harder, to be honest.
Yes, of course, yeah. But, I mean, as I say, when I first went into the Cap, it was the old Black Cap when we only had one single floor with the toilets in the middle.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think I'd done a very early amateur night there, and I remember sort of being out in the back. I don't know if you can remember it, the back alleyway, where you used to have to come in and used to sort of stand out in the rain for 5 minutes before you got on.
That's right, yeah, because there was no dressing room, was there?
It was just stood out in the back hallway.
That's right.
Other memories are Lee Paris. His birthday was on one Sunday, and myself and Regina stood out in the back car park, freezing our bits off, with a birthday cake for him in the old Marks and Spencer's car park at the back. Right. Because the fire exit used to go onto the back car park, if I remember rightly. Yeah. And we stood out there doing that. But from memory,
there used to be a queue waiting to get in for us to open. I think at 9 o'clock, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yes, always was. Yeah.
And we would close. This is 89, 90, and we'd be closing at 11 or 12, depending on the day of the week.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, if you, I don't know if you remember as well the sort of going backwards and forwards to the Laurel Tree, because before Chris had it, Babs used to have it. An Irish lady called Babs, and she then took the Laurel Tree, and it used to be sort of bouncing back to the Laurel Tree over to the Black Cap, depending on the hours, and then they used to, various things used to go on in between.
Yeah.
But fond memories of sitting at the bar at the end of the evening with Reg and yourself and David Rosen. Do
you remember again, sort of early 80s? So you remember? I mean, the sound and the lights were abysmal, weren't they? I remember the disco light in the middle of the floor on the first night I started. Asian, I said, well, where's the lights? And he said, it's that switch there. And I flicked the switch, and all you had going around in the middle of the dance floor was this helicopter light with space for 4 lights, but only one of those was working. That's all it was. One light.
And then they put that wonderful new lighting rig in, didn't they? Which was white.
That's right, yeah.
I never understood that. Why put a white lighting rig in when everybody smoked?
Stuck out a mile.
Covered it in dust. I spent hours cleaning that once a month. Once a month, I was up there with my damp cloth and cleaning it and changing those tar cans. Yeah. Oh, it was a nightmare. But as I say, fond memories of the place, and let's hope it's not the end. And,
I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen there, to be honest. Do you remember Jan, who used to do the cloakroom? She's sending her love. She's too upset to ring in, unfortunately. Yeah, Jan, lovely Jan. Of course, we remember Jan. She actually was there when I left in 2007, and she would sit on that door, and she had complete control over that door. And God help you if you came back after handing your coat in with those immortal words, "Can I get my cigarettes out?"
That was it, yeah. I used to get that all the time, Chris, when I'd done the coat check.
Oh, horrendous.
Sort of bury it somewhere at the back, and, all of a sudden, I forgot my fags. Can I just get my fags out of my pocket?
Yeah.
And I used to end up saying, well, there's a 50p surcharge you from that.
You didn't? Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you get it?
Yeah, sometimes.
You crafty old thing.
With my cute boyish looks back then.
Well, even I used to fancy you, to be honest, Adam.
Yes, I remember it well.
I remember it well.
I used to fancy you. Still do. Actually.
You had. Do you really? You had a black leather jacket, didn't you?
Oh,
you went
really?
everywhere with this black leather jacket. I never forget.
I can't. All that so many years ago now, the memory's going into my old age.
And then I bumped into you a few times at Trade, and of course that's gone, Turnmills.
Yes, down at the old Trade, yes. Because we used to have a saying when we didn't want the other bar staff to know where we were going, we were saying, well, we're going off down Betty Cotswood tonight. And of course that was a bar just up the road from
No, I know where it was, yeah, because that was just, I used to walk past, I used to park down that road. When I was going to Trade and that. You were talking about the bell. I got this off someone's Facebook, a guy called Jack Gilbert earlier. And you mentioned the bell, so it said, sad to hear the news. If the bell was my coming out, the black cap was my coming of age. First went there in 1987 and got to know and love so many courageous, funny and occasionally tragic performers. The Harlequins, Lee Paris, of course, on a Sunday, Sandra and Lucia, Kinky Boots, Sade, Divine, Miss M, Divine Miss M, rather. Paul, surname escapes. Oh, I know, Paul. Oh, do you remember Paul, a drag queen?
Paul, exactly. I'm trying to remember.
Come on, the ones Paul. I know who it means there. I'm sure I wrote that down earlier. Yes, I did. Tony Paul. That was it. Tony Paul.
Yes.
Tony Paul was, I think, the first person I put on stage was a driller. And everyone, because on that first night I was there in 1989, I went in expecting to play records, right? The whole night. I'd never been to the Black Cat before. I didn't know about it. I knew nothing about it. All it was an ad in the paper in capital Gay, DJ required. I applied. Okay, we'll give you a couple of nights. It was a Thursday and a Friday. And the first night on the Thursday, I remember driving there and I was absolutely terrified. But I just thought, because I was a mobile DJ, I just thought I'd be playing records. That's it. Anyway, so I got there and I had a suitcase. I had 2 suitcases full of records.
Yep.
Right? And I went in there and went through this front. I'd never been in there before. Went through the front, and I thought, okay, well, this is nice and busy. And they took me into the back, and David Rosen was there. All right, I'm just here to show you what there is, and I'll be off. Okay, all right then. Thanks, Dave. So, and he showed me all the bits and pieces, and then he said, when you put the show on, he said the cassette record. I said, what do you mean show? He said, well, you've got a drag show to put on. Oh, right. I said, well, how do I do that then? He said, have you never put a drag show on before? I said, no. He said, well, you got to. I said, well, for Christ's sake, don't go. He said, I can hang around for a bit. I said, well, Christ's sake, I've never put a show on before. I said, who is it? Adrella. I said, Adrella? He said, yeah. I said, oh my God, she's the worst one of the lot. She'll crucify me. Because I'd only ever seen shows. I'd never put one on the stage. But as luck would have it, and as the night very quickly it would fill up at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right. It was very, very quick to fill up.
It filled up quickly. Yes. And people were coming up to me. Oh, you've got Adrella tonight. She's going to give you a really hard time. Now, as it happened, she came in and she was fine. She was really nice to me, really nice. And I managed to put her on. I don't think anything went wrong. I don't. It was all on tapes. And I don't think David was there at the beginning. I can't quite remember now. But anyway, the show went on and went off, and that was it. And then I did the Friday night. And the very last record, the music of the day was Kylie Minogue, Bet the Devil You Know, Donna Summer, This Time I Know It's For Real. I had a show on the Friday night to put on as well. I think it closed at 11:30, 12 o'clock on a Friday. And the very last record I finished with on that audition was Lulu and Boom Bang Bang. I don't know why, I just felt that was appropriate for the night. And two girls in particular made me feel very welcome on that first night. And that was a girl called Charlotte, who became MC Dryweave.
All right.
And a DJ at the Vauxhall Tavern for Sunday afternoon's institution. And another girl called Joy, who now runs her own bar in Sydney, her own pub in Sydenham. And those two girls, I came in and I said, oh, do you know how nervous I am? And I can't remember which one it was. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I said, I'm really, really nervous, as I walked in with my suitcases full of records. And they really made me feel quite welcome. And then I just did it, And it doesn't matter how nervous you are. You do whatever job you're doing. You go up there, you stand on your stage and you smile and you do it. And then after that, weeks passed. I mean, weeks and weeks passed and no phone calls. So I started ringing up, I said, do you know if I've got this job, I really want that. And I was lucky enough to get it, Adam.
Yeah.
That was 1989. Yeah. Anyway, back to these, this little message here from Jack Gilbert. Yep. He says there were inimitable Regina Fong. If the Raw Vauxhall Tavern was the home patch for Adrella, then Black Cap was Regina Fong's domain. An amazing 2 hours of ritual mayhem every Tuesday night, which was a weekly part of my life for over a decade. 2 long-term lovers and more long-term friends, YouTube and Weep. And it goes on. So there we are.
That's right. And of course, yesterday was Regina's anniversary, or Richard's anniversary.
Yes, indeed it was. She's been gone for how many years now?
2003, so 12 years.
Good God.
Is that right?
Yeah,
it
must be. 12, you say 12.
And of course, in the May, you and David and Lily Savage done the memorial service, as it were.
Yes.
The memorial show.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did. I've got a picture of Regina Fong here to show people. There we are. There's Regina Fong on the screen there, boys and girls. Okay. And there's also one here. We talked about Lee Paris earlier on. So I just wanted to show a picture of Lee Paris earlier. I couldn't find that earlier. So there's Lee Paris. And I've also got Regina Fong's, I would call it a mass card. The card that you get at a funeral? And I've got that with me as well tonight. That kindly Ray Reynolds let us use, and a little bit on the back there.
Do you also remember on the amateur nights as well, Chris, there used to be a couple of really, really, really bad drag queens that used to come on.
I wouldn't say they were bad. I would say they were different. Now, because you've said bad, I don't want you to name them now. If only you hadn't said that.
Do you remember the one that always... Sorry?
Because you said they were bad, I don't want to say who you meant now.
No, all right.
Because there were quite a few of them. There were quite a few of them. But now I wish you hadn't. Never mind. It's done now. But I actually never thought they were bad. I thought each one had their own individual. I would love to see amateur talent night come back somewhere. But I don't know if it would work now because you had everyone. There was quite a few of them over the years. I tell you, my favourite, without any question, was May East. Right, May East. Now she used to do the 3 degrees and think I had 3 favourites actually. There was May East, who after the amateur talent nights disappeared. I never saw her again.
No,
I don't know what happened to her. She used to do the 3 degrees and things like that on the stage. So there was her. There was Sheila Serenade, who was just wonderful. She would come in with all these different instruments. On like a coat rail. Yeah. She'd wheel this coat rail and there'd be all these instruments and she would do a little show. And there was also someone called Fedora Hogg. And they are the 3 wonderful ones that stick in my brain. And there were many others, but I can't remember at the moment, so I'm not quite sure which ones you're referring to.
Can you remember who used to do the one that used to sing about the lesbians? Crooked Wig and I can't think of her name now.
No, I don't. No. Well, there was a guy called Widow Wanky.
Widow Wanky.
Is that who you mean?
Oh, Widow Wanky.
You remember him?
What a character.
Come to. I know the tune. Come to the old black cap in Camden town, da, 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 da. And he had this little song that he would just do the same song every week, and it worked.
And
it worked.
What would you do with the drunken lesbian? That was it.
that's right. That? It was him. It was him.
With the drunken lesbian,
it was him.
Out time.
Yeah. Oh, Adam, lovely to talk to you there.
And you, Chris.
All right.
Take care now.
Stay in touch.
I will do. Don't worry. I'll come and
Cheerio,
see you
Adam.
down the road. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
So bye-bye now. There we are, Adam calling in from Dulwich. It's a nice part of the world. I do a little karaoke night, incidentally, there on Sundays. The Cherry Tree in East Dulwich, 7 to 11 on a Sunday. Right, well, we've got a line free now. If you still want to call in, we've got about another 12 minutes to go. Call in now. We've got a line free. I'll take the first one that pops up there. Dino, who's listening, says, I've sent a message to Lonnie Gordon for the link to listen. She's just tuned in. She says to say before she hit the big time, she used to appear there every so often, and it was one of her favourite pubs and clubs to work. So, Lonnie Gordon, her favourite track of mine wasn't Happening All Over. It was If I Have to Stand Alone. If I have to stand alone, something like that. I can't remember the exact tune now, but that was my favourite Lonnie Gordon track. She said she and Mel and Kim used to go to the Black Cap sometimes in disguise. They loved it until they got recognised. Oh, that's but I mean, that's the only thing with kind of being someone, like a pop star or that. You got to take it, haven't you, as it comes, really. I don't suppose I'll be ever be recognised in Waitrose where I do shopping or anything like that. Well, there's an email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. You can call in either on Skype. Our Skype username is all one word, United Kingdom Talk. Okay, United Kingdom Talk is a Skype in. Or there's a local London phone number as well, 020-8144-3477, 020-8144-3477. Hello to Nikki Vixen, who sends in an email here, who says, hi Chris, Nikki Vixen here. I just wanted to say I went to the Black Cat first in 1982 and it completely changed my life and took me on a wonderful journey that I could never have anticipated. I met some wonderful people and made lifelong friends that I still hold dear today. As in all things, there were ups and downs along the way, but I wouldn't change any of them. I saw many managers come and go over the years, from Tom and Babs and Chris and Jimmy. And the one thing those people had in common was a real passion for the place. We may have to say goodbye to the pub, but never to the wonderful memories we all share, and they always be in our hearts. And I hope, Nikki, that you were going to call in tonight. So you've sent in an email. So thank you very much for that one, my darling. Okay, let's see if we've got any more messages. Anyway, as I say, anyone else who wants to call in, we can do another call or two. If you've got time to call in, please feel free to do so. It's 020 8144 3477. That's a local London number, 020 8144 3477. Or you can use the Skype in, and the Skype in is United Kingdom Talk. Okay, United Kingdom Talk is the Skype in number. I also picked this, actually, Nikki Vixen, off your wall earlier on. And she writes this on the subject of the Black Cap. In the words of John Lennon, there are places I remember. All my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone and some remain. All these places have their moments. With lovers and friends I can still recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. So that's a lovely piece that Nikki's sent in there. Really, really nice messages and things coming in today. Luke Taylor writes, I love the Black Cap. I was always there in the 80s and 90s and still very much love the place. It was a huge part of our lives and will be very much missed. So thanks for that one, Luke. Okay. One of the other things that happened to me there on a Saturday night it was, and I shall never forget this. My mum was in hospital, and I knew she wasn't coming out of hospital. And it was a Saturday night, and there was about 45 minutes for the show to go on. The drag artist on this particular night was Lizzie Drip, and she was in the dressing room. And it was about, I think, around about 11:15, something like that. And in those days, the mobile phone technology wasn't that good. We had it, but I'd set up an external aerial on the roof of the Black Cap. Now, if you know it, upstairs there's a beer garden. If you ever noticed a pole attached to the railings around the beer garden, did you ever look up and see a little aerial on the top there? That was attached to my mobile phone. That's what that was for. Often people, I just wondered sometimes if anyone would nick it, but they never did. So this aerial was up there and it was attached to my mobile phone. And this Saturday night, the phone rang. It was, hello, is that Chris? Yes, it's Kingston Hospital here. You need to come now, really. Your mother is deteriorating. And I said, okay, I'll be on my way. Can I wait a little while? She said, it's up to you, but don't leave it too long. Okay. I went into the dressing room and I said to Lizzie Drip at the time, I said, how long before you can go on? She said, oh, I'll be about half an hour, 40 minutes. Why, what's up? And I said, my mum's dying. I need to go to the hospital. She said, right, we'll just go. I said, I can't go. You haven't been on yet. She said, just go. Everything will be fine here. You just leave. I said, I cannot go until you've been on. I said, I don't know why. I can't. She said, okay, 2 minutes. Right, fine. So I went back in there. And 2 minutes later, she was on that stage and went off the stage. And I was ready for this. I was already ready for this. And I'd recorded a tape. Now, this was called a DAT tape, D-A-T. And it was a special tape in that it was all digital. This was quite a good thing in those days. These DAT tapes were used by professionals. But the main thing about it was long. It was a 3-hour tape, so to speak. Okay? And I'd already recorded this because I was ready for this. And Lizzie Drip came on the stage. He did a show. I took her off. Well done, Lizzie Drip. All right, boys and girls, bar and music until 3 o'clock. And I pressed the play button. And the music came on. And I grabbed my bags and I shot through everyone and out the door. The place was being run at the time by 2 lovely people who I work for at the moment in Coventry. I DJ it somewhere on a Saturday night in Coventry called Rainbows. That's at the moment it's every other week. I'm about to go once a month there because, to be honest, the travelling's become a little bit too much for me coming home at night. And Martin and Terry were on the door. I said, I've got to go. My mum's dying. Okay, he said, and I always remember Martin say, he said, I'm not trying to, be funny, but what do we do? I said, you haven't got to worry about anything. The tape is made. It's running. It'll go till 3 o'clock. Thank you, Chris. Go. And I went and I took my time. And unfortunately, I didn't quite make it to be with my mum when she died. And I've never really forgiven myself for that. Do you see what I mean? Why did I stay? But it was something about that made me stay there. Perhaps it was maybe so that I wouldn't see what happened at the end. I don't know. But that's just a little story I wanted to share with you there about that. How are we doing on time? Right. Okay. We're going to wrap up now, boys and girls. Finally today, there's something on the wall of Spike Rhodes. Now, Spike is a very, very well respected member of the community there. And on Spike's wall, it says, the community of the Black Cap Camden have mobilised and are ready to fight in solidarity. On Wednesday, the 15th of April, everyone who cared for the iconic drag venue in Camden have come together on the banner of #WeAreTheBlackCap. Now, I've got to be honest, I don't understand what that means. What do I do with that? So maybe someone can quickly message me and tell me what to do with that. So I'll read that again to you. The iconic venue in Camden come together under the banner #WeAreTheBlackCap. I don't know what that means. Do I type that into something or what? They're beginning to organise protests and events to defend the venue that was a home and community centre for so many people, which is exactly what it was. It was not just a business. It really wasn't. A statement says, this Saturday, outside the Black Cap in Camden, between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m, a protest against the closure of the Black Cap and a defence of the future of gay spaces in London. Come down and join the fight. Come down, dress in all your finery and fabulosity. I love that word, fabulosity. Although remember, it's supposed to be 28 degrees in the sun. Yeah, we're looking at a rather warm Saturday. So if you're going to wear your bits and pieces, ladies, be careful, okay? And that's at the Black Cap, 171 Camden High Street, London, NW1 7JY. It goes on to say, the Black Cap, just a second, I've got to line something up there for you. Where are we now? That's it. Otherwise, it won't happen properly. 1 second, because that all went off earlier, didn't it? Well, that's it there. Okay. Good. The Black Cap is a historically significant bar and club within the community and has played a huge role in gay culture over the last 50 plus years. It's been there for years. It's one of those things that you expect to always be there, like Buckingham Palace. I mean, it really is. It's been home to legendary drag queens such as Mrs. Shufflewick and Regina Fong, to name just a few. Its loss to the regular community who attend the venue is profound. I'm heartbroken. It is really like someone dying. It's a magical, special place, this is. Even when it's empty, there's a smell in there, a Pacific smell that you won't get anywhere else. The protest on Saturday is to express our anger at the unceremonious closure of such an amazing venue? Because no one said anything. We didn't know. There was no closing party. Nothing. There were just a few people who were very lucky enough to hear, who managed to get down there. They heard while it was open on the night. It needs to remain visible in the eyes of the public and the owners, and to mobilise the community surrounding the Black Cap to fight for its survival. We stand in solidarity with venues such as the Royal Vauxhall Tavern and the Joiners Arms, and fight against the wider gentrification, if I can say that word, and the closure of gay spaces in London. So there we are. If you want to go down to that, it's outside the Black Cap in Camden between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. on this Saturday. That's the 18th of April 2015. Well, that's it, boys and girls. Thank you very much for staying with us. I'm so sorry that it all went wrong sort of halfway through the show there, boys and girls. But it was me. I've got two remote controls here, you see. One is for the air conditioning. That's what that bleep is. And this one here is for all the power in the studio. And for some reason, I picked this up and turned this off instead of the air conditioning. But never mind. Thank you very much, boys and girls. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. If you want to send anything else in, then please feel free to do so. I can use it in a future show, okay? Our next live show here on United Kingdom Talk is on Saturday afternoon at 12 o'clock UK time. Our regular Saturday afternoon show is, as always, at 12 o'clock UK time. My main website, www.unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And to finish with, myself and Titti have produced this little video for you. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you like what I've done with the music as well. Thanks for watching and listening on this early Thursday morning. Bye-bye now.